A warm greetings to everybody who has joined live for this third episode of Race Ahead in Life. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening from wherever you're joining. Namaste, Sat Shri Akal, Vanakkam, Assalamu Alaikum. I welcome you all to the third episode of our series Race Ahead in Life. This series has been created with one focused objective, and that objective is to create an ecosystem of knowledge, learning, and achievements. In our process of creating this ecosystem, our first endeavor is to bring you all the inspirational stories of achievers amongst us. And before I go ahead and introduce our achiever for today, who has an amazing story lined up for us. However, I have a beautiful story myself to tell you. And before I do that, I want to wish everyone, each one of you, a very, very happy Baisakhi. We celebrated Baisakhi yesterday, and there is a very interesting story around Baisakhi. This year was 1699, and Baisakhi was being celebrated as every year. But this year it was very, very special. Millions and millions of people had gathered in Anandpur Sahib, a city in the western province of Punjab in India. And people had brought gatherings and gifts for their revered Guru, the 10th Guru of Sikhs, Guru Gobind Singh. And during this gathering, they were waiting for their Guru to come out and give them an address. In that address, he came out with something very interesting. He said, and I quote, I have a lot of devotees and I love my devotees. However, is there a devout Sikh amongst you who will come up and sacrifice their head for me here and now? People in the gathering were bamboozled. They were flabbergasted. They thought, the Guru, has he gone mad? Amongst all this confusion rose Dayaram, a shopkeeper from Lahore. He came up to the Guru and gave up his blessings. Dayaram followed Guru Gobind Singh Ji in his tent. After a few minutes, the Guru appeared with his sword dripping in blood, and he had the same request again. He asked for another head. This time, Dharam Singh, who was from Hastinapur, the present Meerut, stood up and walked in the footsteps of Dayaram. The Guru took Dharam Singh into the tent and came up 3 times again, asking for 3 more heads. This time, Mohkam Chand, Himmat Rai, and Sahib Chand gave up their heads for the Guru. In this uttermost confusion, after about 2 hours, the Guru once again appeared from his tent, and he was followed by the 5 gentlemen who had since offered their heads to the Guru. They were adorned with new clothes and they had a glow on their face. It seemed as if they were transformed. To the utter surprise of the gathering, the crowd, these people looked like they have got a new birth. The Guru gave them the name of the five beloveds, the Panch Pyaras in Punjabi. In the years to come, after this episode, the Guru had announced that wherever down years, decades, and the centuries, wherever there are five noble people from the so-called Khalsa Panth that was made on the Baisakhi of 1699, wherever there are five noble men who gave out the order, that order needs to be as good as that of the Guru. Such was the charisma of the 10th Guru of the Sikhs, Guru Gobind Singh, who not only had the charisma of leader in himself, but he also gave the same power to his devotees, to his followers. And that is the mark of a true leader. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the story of Vaisakhi of 1699, and that was the foundation of the Khalsa Panth, and that is why this is so important to us as Sikhs around the world. Now, with that story, I would like to transition into our guest for tonight. Our guest for tonight is a very, very amazing personality. I had the honor of working with this gentleman, Deepak Sharma. And while I go ahead and introduce Deepak Sharma, Deepak is right in front
Hi everyone.
of your screens. Deepak is a postgraduate in human resource management, and he has 30 years of leadership experience in the diverse field as education, hospitality, construction, not for profit, public speaking, and training and development. Oh, wow, what a versatile personality. His passion for training and professional speaking pushed him out of his comfort zone of a well settled job in the year 2008. When he took that decision, he had absolutely no clue what training and professional speaking is. He believes very strongly on the quote, take the decision and then get busy with making that decision right. Since then, he has trained and coached about 18,000 people across the world on various managerial and behavioral competencies. He works with leaders and helps them first lead self before they lead their teams. He is also a member of NSA in the Houston chapter in the USA and also the Association for Talent Development ATD in US. He is keynote speaker, an experiential trainer and a public speaking coach. A very warm greeting, Deepak. My first question obviously is, how do you do all these things in a single lifetime span?
Hello Deepinder and hello everyone. Can you hear me clearly?
Absolutely, Deepak.
There was a message on the Facebook that the voice is not coming. Maybe if you want to check, uh, your voice was not going out. So I thought let
Is
me
my is
before
my
we
voice going now? I guess
no
can you hear Deepak?
I can hear it very clearly. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So thank you so much, Deepinder, for bringing me on this show. And I would first of all like congratulate you for taking this initiative. And this is not an easy thing to do something new in life. And I have experienced it many times, no doubt about it.
Absolutely.
It takes a lot of effort. It takes a lot of thought process, and people go through a lot of emotions when uh, you do something new. It could be as easy as getting up at 5 o'clock in the morning. So I know it's not that easy, but to me it's look easy now because everything that's happened in the beginning is always difficult, and then it's become easy. Yeah. So talking about my story, I think I've been a corporate guy. I've worked in, as you already shared, with various organizations. But I think it's very important for me to share here that wherever today I have reached is only because of there were people behind me who have pulled me up. And then I was ready to give my hand to them so that they can pull me up. So, but there were people who have also tried to pull me down. But the people on the top side were more stronger than the people on the bottom side. So it reminds me of a story of a crab mentality wherein a man used to transport crab to another person, and to save the cost, he took off everything out of that packaging. And every time he used to reduce the packaging, the other person on the other side used to ask him, "Why are you reducing packaging?" And he said, "Have you got the crabs?" And he used to say, "Yes, I've got all the crabs." One day he removed the lid of that box. And when this guy got furious, his question was, "Have you got the crabs?" He said, "Yeah, I got the crab, but how do you know that when you remove the lid of the box, still the crabs count will be the same?" He said that crabs have this huge mentality. Whenever a crab tries to come up, other crabs pull him down. And that is what happens many times in our life. Not exactly the crab mentality, but a lot of people who are around us, who love us, they actually try to save us, protect us from failing whenever you are trying something new. And when we are trying, in the process, they pull us down and they don't even know. They always say, "No, no, no, if you're doing good job, you are very comfortable in this, why you want to do this, why you want to try new things?" And it happened with me many times, Dipender. It happened with
Absolutely,
me many
absolutely.
times. So in 2008, when I took this decision, it was not that easy decision, because that time I was into my job for more than 20 years. And I was very comfortable, 5 days leave, Saturday, Sunday off, medical benefits, everything was there in the job. And I was working in that organization for last 16 years. It was not that easy decision. But somehow, at some stage of your life, you have that, in Hindi, we call it chul. We have that
Right.
trigger. We have that trigger that you feel that, now you need to do something different in life, because you are actually spending life instead of living life. And when I
Absolutely.
thought, how can I be able to serve people? I realized, unless I should be able to serve myself, I will never be able to serve people. And
Absolutely.
that is where I took that big, huge risk of going and telling my boss, and I hope he is listening here, uh, that that I'm going to leave my job and start get into training, because that is what I love. He said, "I have never
Right.
seen you speaking. I don't think so. You can do it. You are well settled. You are in this organization for so many years." Uh, then I realized that he is not at this point of time in the mindset of motivating me. But I told him that I want to do it. This is my passion. Till that time, I had no clue what training is, what this is. He asked me, "Where will you go?" I said, "I'm going to explore."
Absolutely.
And let me tell you an incident in that whole process. I managed to get in touch with a very senior trainer. I don't want to name that person. He's a very, very senior, well known personality in the corporate world. His books, his tapes are all over the world. And I went to this person with my CV, and I met this guy, and he told me that you cannot become a trainer.
Oh my
I
God.
said, "Why?" He said, "Because in my profile, I have written that, see, when you are immature and you're getting into something new, you do make mistakes." Okay. So I made a mistake. I wrote that I want to become trainer because I want to get out of this job mentality, this slave mentality. Okay. And uh, because I was very new. But I told him that I'm also passionate about helping people, impacting their lives. He clearly told me that you cannot become trainer. You better go back and stay at your job. Your profile says that you are not in that framework of becoming a trainer. I still remember I was with one of my best friend Rajiv, standing outside of his house in Nizamuddin and literally crying. And I thank that guy today that he motivated me that day, that I cannot become trainer. He motivated me that I cannot, because if he wouldn't have told me that thing that day, I wouldn't be here where I am today. So you need people at that particular point of time in life. You feel to kill those people. You feel that why these people are so negative. But it's very, very important that to understand that these are the people who actually trying to pull you down indirectly are pulling you up before even provided you are able to understand that particular moment. So
Absolutely.
I have realized that particular moment I was very down, I was very depressed at that particular moment. But when I look back, as I always say, you cannot connect the dots looking forward, you can only connect the dots looking backward. As I look back, he was one of the most important pillars in my journey. And that story doesn't end there. After many years, when I was coming back from Mumbai, and and I was in the bus when I deboarded the plane and getting into the terminal, I saw that guy in the bus. And I had a co-trainer who was by then was very um become a fan of me. He or she always used to say that, I'll always love enjoying working with you. And I told her that story, and I said, this is the person who have actually motivated me in this way. And she was young and she got very furious. She said, I'll go and tell this guy that meet this trainer. I said, no, hold on. I'll go and tell this guy. And I went to this person. I said, sir, thank you so much. I really appreciate. I want to say thank you to you. He was not able to recognize me. But then I told him that one day I came to you and I really, really from my heart say thank you to you for telling me no that day. Because for me, the no was not N-O. For me, the no was K-N-O-W. You need to know more to become a trainer.
Wonderful.
So,
Wonderful.
so that is how I started my journey. Even my boss, who said that supported me in my journey. He told me that okay, you can start taking your leave and start doing some training programs in your part time and see how it comes along. When he saw me that I was progressing, and he also supported me in my journey in the process. So, so in simple words, I would like to say, as Shah Rukh Khan says in one of this movie, when your dream is so strong, the whole universe conspires. And there are people like Dipender, people like that gentleman, people like so many people who comes into your life automatically to push you up, and you will be able to achieve your goals in life.
Wonderful.
Because
So amazing story. Amazing
yeah,
story. Yeah, amazing story,
because
Deepak.
and let me add one more thing to you, and I give a huge credit to one another organization for my journey, and that is Toastmasters.
Yeah.
Because why I'm saying Toastmasters, I still remember when my wife told me that Deepak, you always have passion of speaking. You go and meet these people who are they are opening a new club, the Dwarka Toastmasters Club in Dwarka, and I went
Right.
once, and then I never returned to that club for 6 months. I was so scared.
I remember that story.
Yeah. So, but in Toastmasters, there were people who were ready to pull you up. There was nobody who was pulling you down. And if I'm sure there are a lot of Toastmasters who are listening to this podcast, this whole session, and I would say that Toastmasters is a platform that have power to change your life, provided
Absolutely.
you are ready to change your life on your own. Don't play
Absolutely.
with Toastmasters. Don't play with Toastmasters. Rather, take it seriously as if you are on a journey of doing MBA. As the
Absolutely.
way you will attend your class every day in MBA, you attend your sessions of Toastmasters, and you will see amazing things starts happening to you, because everything that I've learned in terms of public speaking is only through Toastmasters.
Absolutely, and I am in congruence with you on that. I guess I am also a product of Toastmaster. If there is any expertise with the flair with which I talk, I will owe everything to Toastmasters, and that is, and
Absolutely.
beyond doubt that Toastmasters has been a way of life in both our lives. Uh, Truly
Absolutely.
inspiring, Deepak. Truly inspiring. So when you were starting in 2008, right? You ventured into an uncharted territory, Deepak, and that can be very very frightening sometimes. And a lot of people actually stop dreaming and stop pursuing for achievement at that very state of being frightened. What were some of your fears, and how did you overcome those fears?
Okay, now this is a very interesting story. As I said that when you take decision, you don't worry about whether it's going to be wrong or right. You start working towards making it right. It's very, very important, because your mental attitude has to be that. When you start, you have go with that attitude. When you get into a journey, a race, as you said, race. When you get into a journey of which is about your dreams, then automatically a lot of people start appearing into your life. So again, there is a story to it, uh, a very old story, and I have given in my speech also recently, which I won last year in District 56, wherein I was in eighth class, and I was eighth or ninth standard when I was doing rappelling first time, and I realized that in rappelling, everything is about taking that first step. Everything is about taking that first step, because once you take that first step, then every rest of part will go away in 2 minutes. And people who have done rappelling in their life, they could realize, and when you are hanging on that edge, you are like dying. You will feel like kill your instructor, man. Why this guy? Why do you need to do rappel? And I have used rappelling in my training sessions to bring out this particular aspect of fear many times. My participants knows that whenever I used to do outbound training programs, now rappelling used to be one of the activities, because I have realized it has power. Now in life also, whenever I got an opportunity, I took that first step. So many times we don't speak up to people about your dreams. If I go and tell you that I want to become a speaker, and you will say, come and join Toastmasters. But if I have never spoken to you, why will you tell me that you come and join Toastmasters? So taking that first step, even of speaking up, is very important. So I was on a holiday with my family in Mukteshwar, and I was sitting around bonfire. Whole my family was there. After a few hours of fun, everybody went and left to the room, and I was sitting and thinking about this whole thing, because I have already discussed this with my boss. And at that particular point of time, this gentleman who walks into the bonfire place, who is the owner of this place, and started talking to me and saying, "Sir, is your stay comfortable? Are you okay?" And he asked me a very pertinent question. He asked me, "What do you do?" I told him I am heading HR and admin for an organization, but till today, but I have taken a decision to move on to become a trainer. Now, as I said, when your dreams are strong and your goals are clear, there will be people who walk it into your life. And he said, what do you want to do in training? I said, I want to become an outbound trainer, because I realized this experience of rappelling many years back, and I thought I can bring a lot of change in people's life by doing various activity based learning. He said, we get a lot of outbound trainers here in this location, in this resort. Do you want me to refer to you to somebody? I said, will you? He said, why not? He took out his mobile phone and gave me around 8 numbers. And I spoke to, next morning, I spoke to all the 8 people. Out of them, six said, we don't need anybody at the moment. The seventh and the eighth guy said, let's try to meet sometime. I followed with them for more than 8 or 9 months. Every time they were busy. Every second month, I used to send them message, can we meet now? Can we meet now? They all were busy. And finally, I was able to meet both of them. And I started working with one of them as a co-trainee. At the age of 39, I was working as a trainee. Now, when you're doing something new, the other lesson is never worry about learning something new in life. There is no age of learning. At the age of 39, I learned how to be a trainer. And now I had a lot of admin and HR skills. And this guy realized that I could manage the events very well rather than doing training. But I remember as Eklavya, am I right? If the guy was Eklavya who saw and learned all the skills of Guru, not learning from him, but just watching from him.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Now, I used to look at him every day when he used to do training. And then I used to go and look at YouTube videos or some videos and look other trainers and watch them, what they speak, how they think on their feet when they are answering questions of participants. And I start practicing those skills with my kids, with my friends. And I have already joined Toastmasters by then because I joined Toastmasters in 2007. And I realized that you can also learn by watching people. You don't have to, if nobody is teaching you, just watch them. I always tell people, leaders in Toastmasters, that I learn from them on stage, I learn from them off stage. The way they behave, the way they talk, the way they handshake, the way their body language is. You learn a lot, man, from every single person.
Right.
So, and again, I said, when your dreams are strong, you have uh, opportunities. So one day I was into a training program and assisting a senior trainer. He came to my tent. We were staying in a tent. He came to my tent. Deepak, would you lead the program today? Now it was my first opportunity. I said, if I say no, then something wrong is going to happen. I said yes. It was a leadership team of Vodafone Haryana, and I said yes. And he told me, don't worry, I'm sitting there. If something wrong happens, I'll handle it. And that is the journey of my journey started from there. And I was into my full form because I got an opportunity of life.
Right. And rest is history. Absolutely. So we know
Yeah,
how you have then gone on to become a well-known well-known trainer, and then now you've also moved to the US. Now you are also a professional speaker. You are a member of the NSA over there in on the Houston chapter, uh, and a journey of 1,000 miles starts with the first step, and that's
absolutely.
exactly what you've been telling us. Deepak, you're also a distinguished Toastmaster, and you've been associated with Toastmasters for the last 13 years. Distinguished Toastmasters for the uninitiated is the highest award that a person can get in being a Toastmaster. And I believe only 2% in the last 96 years have been able to achieve that in Toastmasters. You've also won some national level speech contests in Toastmasters. Uh, but particularly the year when you were the club growth director for District 41, that strikes a chord with me because I've worked under your leadership in that year, and that was an unprecedented year for District 41, the feat that District 41 never achieved and has never achieved after that. Please throw some light on what was that journey all through that year. And I also remember the partnership of you and of Toastmaster Mukesh Kolothia. Please give us some nuggets of that journey of that year, particularly that year, because that was really unprecedented.
If you say that District 41 has never achieved, I think that's a wrong statement to say, because
Okay,
District 41 is
I
doing
stand
District
corrected.
District 41 is doing amazing things these days. Amazing things. We have an absolutely amazing team in District 41, and everybody is putting in their heart, and they are doing much more that we have done. So, but yes, for me, it was a very new opportunity. I had never been into leadership, that senior leadership. And when I came on the board as club growth directors, I asked few senior people, what should I do? And I don't mind taking their names. One was DTM Deepak Menon, and one was DTM Neeraj Gupta. And I asked them, what should I do in this whole process? And at that point of time, because I wanted to become a speaker, my question to DTM Deepak Menon was, I would focus on club growth director and helping the team there. And I also want to parallelly do my journey for accredited speaker. Okay. So this was a question I remember when we were on the beach in Goa in the evening partying. I asked DTM Deepak Menon. He gave me very wise advice. He said, focus on one thing. He said, being a CGD is not an easy job. You will have to do a lot of things. And if you focus on CGD, I'm sure you're going to shine. Just focus on this. Hold on to a credit speaker. It's a long journey. It will take time. Maybe next year or next to next year, you can start thinking about it. And for that, you have to be very much. So I took that advice. Second advice I got from DTM Neeraj Gupta. He said, very simple. I said, what should I do? He said, when I was program quality director, or I was into that role, I just followed the shadow of my leader. When I have my team working with me as PQD and CGDs, they followed my shadow. So we laid a foundation with the leadership of then district director, I think it was DTM Rita Arora. We laid a strong foundation for district in that year. We built on that foundation. We became number 3. And now, if you work and follow the shadow of your leaders, you will definitely reach new heights. And that's all I did, because I was very new to it. I was not aware. I had a lot of leadership skills, but how to run a district is a very different ball game. There were people who were experienced. There were mentors of the district. There were people like DTM Deepak Menon, DTM Neeraj Gupta, DTM Rita Arora. So there were people who were there to support DTM Mukesh Kalothia. So I basically just blindly followed my leaders. And in the process, I learned a lot. In the process, I learned a lot. And one thing I don't want to miss on here, and it has become a part of my life in everything that I do. When I was attending the freshers orientation in the Washington DC in the conference, Dan Rex, the CEO, normally conduct this orientation, and he said one beautiful thing, and that quote got stuck to me, and you must have heard that from me many times, but I want to share that with everyone here. He said, if you really want to make your districts proud of you, just remember one thing. What is your main thing? Main thing is the district mission. Okay. And keep the main thing, the main thing, the main thing. The main thing is to keep the main thing, the main thing. So he gave us this quote, and we simply worked on this quote, focusing on the main thing. And the team also focused on the main thing. You were part of that team. Every single member. I'm still proud of that team. And many of them are in various senior positions now and taking Toastmasters to new height. We are still proud of that team, and I think that was a fantastic journey.
Absolutely,
Lot to
absolutely.
learn
I,
from
I
it.
I totally remember when we were being oriented as the new district officers. I remember this quote very clearly, that the main thing is to keep the main thing, and uh, certainly it still sticks with us. And whenever we are taking up a new endeavor, this is the main mantra that we still follow. At least I still follow,
Absolutely.
and I'm sure a lot of my colleagues from that year still follow the same mantra as well. Amazing, and it's certainly amazing to relive these moments with you, Deepak. Deepak, you've also told us that you're an experiential trainer. What does that mean? What are some of your unique techniques as a trainer during the sessions, and what sets you apart as a trainer?
I always say, as age wrinkles your skin, lack of energy and enthusiasm wrinkles your soul. So, as a trainer, one of the key things that I believe very strongly is you have to be really, really energetic and enthusiastic about your training. If you are not enthusiastic, and if you say into the room and say, "Hello, guys, good morning. How is the energy levels?" Trainees will say, "Guys, sir, please increase your energy level first."
That's right.
So, there's something called mirroring, and normally audience will do mirror to mirror you the way you behave in the front of audience. Mirroring
Absolutely.
is the key, and one of my key strength I believe very strongly, and is which I learned from Toastmasters and my other training programs, is confidence. And confidence with a lot of energy and enthusiasm. Even if you don't know the answer, many times participants will ask you many questions under the sun which you may not know the answer. You are not an expert on everything. Rather, you are not an expert. Everybody is a work in progress. Okay. So when I see that people have asked questions, it's only your energy and enthusiasm and confidence can save you from those situations.
Absolutely.
Uh, Now, one is this, and secondly, I think every time, the other way I have experienced you can become a great trainer or a good trainer is using, instead of giving gyan, involve them. When you involve people, they will evolve. Okay. Now, involving is very, very important. How do you involve? You involve like we do through experiential learning by activities. You do an activity and then we dissect that activity. It's like you are taking your kid to a vegetable market, and this is what I used to do with my kids. And instead of telling them and giving them a book and telling them learn about the vegetables here, take them to the vegetable market and ask them, what is this? What is this? What do you know about this? Make them experience those vegetables. And when they experience those vegetables, then you come back home and then show them again, play with them. What is happening? You are actually using experiential learning to teach your kids what is vegetables. Instead of telling them that this is tomato, this is apple, this is this. So photos and the real life makes a huge difference. So tell me, Dipender, you learn? Have you ever ride a bicycle?
Yes.
Bicycle. So
Yes.
have you ever learned bicycle on a by reading a book?
No.
There must
You
be a
only
manual
learn.
when you sit on the bicycle.
Yes.
Am I right? So when you
Yes.
sit on the bicycle, you fall, you against it, your father, your brother will hold you and try to take you forward, and then they leave you. And experience when you have actually start pedaling first time is amazing. Remember?
Absolutely.
So now when you start pedaling first time and you experience that bicycle, imagine when you do something new in first time in life, what will be that experience? So try out new things. I used to try out new things with my participants because I know that I'm trying first time, they don't know.
That's good.
So for them, it's something I'm expert on. So when you try out something and they are anything new, experiential, they are involved in it. For example, I remember trying storytelling with my participants. I remember doing a table topic with my participants who are not Toastmasters. Now imagine if a Toastmasters enjoy table topics so much, how much new people will enjoy it. It's an experience for them to communicate by thinking on their feet.
Absolutely.
Am I right?
Absolutely.
So we have always done, tried, invented, always new things, doing new things, and it has always paid off. So I enjoyed my journey as experiential learning, experiential
Absolutely.
trainer.
Absolutely.
I
Absolutely.
miss it
And
in US. You have attended a couple of sessions in Toastmasters with me on that, I believe.
absolutely, yes, yes, and I very categorically remember the trainings in the district officer training program. They were
Yeah,
very interesting, very fun filled. Plus, they had a lot of learning. So I
absolutely.
totally understand where you're coming from and what is your strategy while you are engaging your audience or your trainees. That's
Yeah,
absolutely correct with what you're saying. Deepak, we also know a lot about your versatility. You're a man with a lot of hats. You are a co-author of a book. Uh, Ladies and gentlemen, I would like, with your permission, Deepak, I would like to show the book to everybody over here. So this is the book, Move Mountains One Story at a Time. Uh, for the uninitiated, this book has been co-authored by Deepak and Mukesh Kolothia. It is a collection of 52 stories filled with inspiration, filled with motivation. And I had the honor of getting this book within the first 4 to 5 days of release. I read it and I was truly inspired reading this book. Uh, I will not ask you a lot of questions around this book. What is this book all about? I will let the audience go ahead buy this book. I guess it became the #1 selling book on Amazon for that particular month. I will let the audience go ahead, get a copy of this book and read the nuggets from this book. What we really would like to know, Deepak, how did this book happen? What were some of the roadblocks you encountered while you were getting this book published or written, and how did you overcome those challenges to make this book a reality?
So actually, me and Mukesh have worked very closely in District 41 when we were in 2016 and 17. And after working, we realized that we have a lot of synergy, and we don't want to lose that synergy. And we thought, let's do some new project where we can think about something new. And then we thought, why not write some case studies from our journey in District 41? Then we realized that we can always share those case studies in our blogs or in our articles, but that will not actually uh, actually serve to bigger audience. The audience for that case study will be only Toastmasters, and that also very few Toastmasters. So that's the reason we thought of writing a book where we use experiential learning as one of the medium, wherein you have an activity and then you dissect that activity, a learning. So we thought pick up a story, uh, age-old stories or stories from our life or stories from big people's life, which people have heard many times, but it has been passed from generation to generation without learning from it. It's like this book called um, How to Influence Friends and People. Friends, am I
How
right?
to win
By
friends
very
and influence people.
friends and people has been there for long, but it's been passed from generation to generation. But still, in today's world, people are not able to win friends and people. Okay, so or dictionary. Everybody has dictionary, but the least read book in the world. So similarly, there are a lot of stories in our around us, but never being dissected to learn from those stories. So we thought, let's dissect these stories. How do we apply the learning and into our personal and professional life? The other idea was we wanted to write a book which is not for one particular segment. We want to write a book. A person who is 80-year-old can read it. A person who is 5-year-old can read it. And believe me, we have got a lot of feedback from people that the kids are enjoying these books.
Wow.
Their grandparents are enjoying these books. And then later on, we converted it into Hindi so that people who are non-English speakers can also enjoy these stories. So this is a book which is for every generation. You can make your kids sleep while telling them stories from this book. If you are demotivated, you can pick up this book and get motivated, or you
Right.
can just make sure. And now you know that I'm converting this book into Sunday stories. Every Sunday, I share one story
Yes.
in a video form.
Right. Uh, and I truly agree with you on this, Deepak. I've read this book, and the language is so simple that you do not have to put a lot of brain in understanding the stories behind this book.
You don't have to
Uh,
pick up dictionary.
you don't have to pick up a dictionary, and you don't have to be a literature scholar to understand the story behind the book. You just need to have simple human emotions to understand the entire book. I've read
But
it, and
you can use these stories to motivate CEOs or kids.
absolutely no questions around that. Absolutely. um, Deepak, you know, you've been a marvelous leader in your own arena. You are a thorough professional. What are some of your core values that make you such a thorough professional?
I think the one of the most important core value is integrity. Okay, so now when I asked, I was in Toastmasters, and a very senior leader who was one of the international directors. I asked him, "Sir, what is your definition of integrity?" He said, "When your thoughts, when your words, when your actions are aligned, that's integrity." So recently, I was coaching somebody, on a process, how to install habits. Now, there was few habits that I was not following in my life. So I thought I have no right to coach that person.
Right.
So, so what did I do? I thought I started practicing those habits along with while coaching that person. And I told that person, I
Absolutely.
will also learn these habits because I have no right if I am not practicing. So integrity is one. Second is communication. You know, one is very important. You speak out with people. It's very important to speak out. If you have anything in your heart, go and talk to people. Half of the problem gets solved by just speaking up.
Absolutely.
You don't have to get into conflicts. And I've also learned with my experience. And the third is the most important, which I believe is humility. You need to behave the way you will shake hand with the security guard, the similar way you should shake hand with the CEO. If your actions are different at both the places, you are lacking on the value of humility. So if you can imbibe these three values, I believe very strongly, then I think journey will be beautiful.
Absolutely. I guess integrity, humility, communication. A lot of people actually these days, and I would not be a preacher over here. However, a lot of people are not moving ahead in life. They're not racing ahead in life because they are simply lacking these basic tenets, basic values in their life. And
No, I think
probably,
it's not. Dependent is not lacking. Everybody knows about this. Everybody knows. We have in it.
Right.
It is inside us. It is about only about talking to ourselves and then start displaying those values. Even if we are not habitual of it, deliberately started displaying those values. For example, if you today, if I was coaching that person, I have an option to coach that person without applying those values to me. That person will not even know.
Right.
But I realized, and I learned from Mahatma Gandhi when he was telling a girl not to eat sugar. And his mother said, Mahatma ji, please tell her not to eat sugar. He said, come next week. They went next week and he said, Beta, don't eat sugar. She said, why didn't you tell last week? I came from all the way, so many kilometers. He said, till last week, I also used to eat sugar.
That's so true. So
So,
true.
so that's
And that is why,
integrity.
and that is the reason he became a Mahatma.
Yeah.
Because
So that is
those
integrity.
values was first installed in within, and then only then he went on to preach. And I guess
Absolutely.
each one of us can get that level of being a Mahatma. It's just that we need to realize that we need to install these qualities within us.
It's all about
Amazing.
small things.
Yes, absolutely. uh, Deepak, one of your belief that I read was that you tell us that every human being is a work in progress, right? What is your status of being work in progress?
Very far from being perfect. Still a long journey to go. I was just thinking few days back. I am going to complete 50 this year. Okay, so I was thinking, I was looking at all big leaders in the world, whether it's Ratan Tata, whether it is Narendra Modi, whether it is all the people who are into their 70s and 80s. So I was thinking, oh my God, I have 30 years to enjoy my life and learn a lot of new things. So the journey is long, man. I have just
Absolutely.
started scratching the surface of professional speaking journey, and I believe that every person has a lot of potential because, especially in our country, in India, a lot of people think at the age of 60 now they are retired. No, that's the time to start. That's the time to reboot, and that is the time because at the age of 60 you have experience of 60 years that can impact many lives. So,
Absolutely.
so now it is time to restart. So for me, as soon as I hit half century this year, I'm going to restart my life.
Wow. And it also reminds me the story of Colonel Sanders. Colonel Sanders actually became a millionaire after he got retired.
Yeah,
Yeah, and we totally resonate with all what you're saying right now. It's I'm having a blast having this conversation with you,
me
Deepak.
too.
I hope we do not have to bring this to an end. However, as it is said, all great things need to come to an end until they can be started again. Uh,
Absolutely.
Deepak, before we let you go today, let me first thank you from the bottom of my heart for taking out time. I know it is early morning there in the US. You have got up early. You have made time out of your schedule for this interview, giving us nuggets of the wisdom, giving us brownie points, the cherry points that we can take back after we go away from this interview. A lot of people will listen to the recording and will see the recording sessions, and I am sure without an iota of a doubt that we will draw a lot of new inspiration and learning from the nuggets of wisdom that you have provided us today. Before we let you go, one last request. It would not be a question. What would be your message for all those aspiring authors, all those aspiring professional speakers, and each and everybody who has tuned into this live session today?
My message is first of all, you have to be very clear that where are you going, and everything in your life, everything, be it this session, be it anything that you're doing, apart from your daily rituals. You're eating, you're taking bath. Apart from that, even that is also, everything in your life has to be aligned to that. If something that is not aligned to your bigger goal, then you are playing with your life. That is one thing. Second thing is, there is no story in, if I would have told you, Dipender, I went to that trainer and he said, oh, wow, nice to meet you, and come and join me, and I will teach you how to become a trainer. And I became a trainer. Was that a story? No, that's not a story. So when there are challenges, when people are saying no to you, when people are telling you you cannot do it, when people are telling you that you are useless, when people are telling you that you are not effective, you are not impactful, say thank you to them, because they are actually writing your story. Okay, they are being a participant and helping you to write your story, because unless there is ups and downs in story, it's not a story. Watch a movie which is plain and you will say this movie has no drama, no conflicts, no tensions. It is only a plain story. There was king and queen, they got married and they lived happy ever after. No, that's not the story. Every person has a story, and share your story with people. You will see, you will impact many lives.
Oh wow, wonderful, Deepak. I am super excited, super
Thank you
uh,
so much.
thankful to your presence over here. It's such an auspicious presence. I really hope that we also have yet another opportunity to have you once again on this show. God willing, this there would be an opportunity in the future. Thank you so much for taking out time, and to all of
Thank you.
you who are listening to us, who got the glimpse of the story of inspiration from Deepak. Thank you so much for joining in today. We'll be next on air 2 days from today on Thursday, again 6 p.m. Indian Standard Time. Wherever you are, please do tune into this channel, because we are sharing these stories to create an ecosystem of knowledge, learning, and achievements. Thank you so much for joining in today, and have a blessed evening, a blessed day ahead to all of you from the bottom of my heart. And thank you, Deepak, once again.
Thank you, Dipender. Thank you so much. You take
Bye
care of
bye.
yourself, and everybody be safe. Thank you.
Bye bye. Thank you.
Bye bye.